Shalom everybody. The purpose of tonight's discussion lesson is in regards to what we understand and we learn from the parasha of Beshalach, and that's Kriyat Yam Suf, Petichat Yam Suf, the opening of the Yam Suf. Of course, after a year of punishment to Pharaoh, Bnei Israel finds the energy and the power to come out of Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim represents the difficulties, the learning that we have to go through our life. Mitzrayim comes from the language of tsar, when you are put into a circumstance that you need to put effort, you need to question, you need to go inside, you seek for help. And that's called Mitzrayim. And that's the whole story of Mitzrayim and Yetziat Mitzrayim, coming out of Egypt and going through the process of Kriyat Yam Suf, the opening of the Yam Suf, and then after leads to finality of the day, after 49 days, to receive the Torah. The Torah being the wisdom, the Torah being that energy that brings us to true holiness, true essence of Kedusha, of holiness, and holiness in sense of to be whole. Not only holy, but to be whole, to be complete. As we know that essentially, eventually, we have to bring sweetness and mercy to this world as the nation of Israel, in order to bring that thought essence into this creation called Mashiach. The name of this Mashiach, we learn, is Shalom, peace. Until such a time that peace does not come in totality in this creation, that means we need to go through the process of Mitzrayim, through the process of learning, as we say very simply, no pain, no gain, until such a time that we cleanse what is not supposed to be part of this creation. The essence that we call Shalom. It's a shlimut, it's the completeness of the creation. Now, looking at the parasha Beshalach, that's chapter Yud Dalet. It says the following, Pasuk Yud Gimel, the 13th sentence, V'yomer Moshe la'am al tirau titzavu v'reu et Yeshuat Adonai. The first essence that Moshe talks here, the beginning of success, the beginning of the opening, for the beginning of one to realize what it is that I have to correct, to learn, that knowledge, that capability of understanding, at the same time receiving that wisdom, that knowledge to be able to rectify and learn and bring that necessary light, energy, true energy, so it finally comes to a concept of Shalom. So here he says, don't have a fear. It's the time that you have to get together. So the essence of this Shalom depends on Yitzavu. It's the Bnei Israel to come, Am Israel to come to be truly one unit, Echad. That's why we do instructed twice a day to say Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We all strive to that unity, because that unity initiates, as we see, that energy, that light that brings Am Israel and the creation into redemption, and that is the time of a Mashiach. And it says the following. It says, "Asher yaseh lachem hayom ki asher ra'item et Mitzrayim hayom lo tosifu lirot." That means what? By this opening, by this action, you will rectify, you will correct, you will get rid of that Mitzrayim, that concept of tsar, of not knowing what to do, of not being aware, that you shall not see again. Od ad olam, Adonai yelachem lachem. It's the time that then God will take over and will fight for you. Vatem techashrun, and that's the time that you really should not do anything. You have to wait and see what God does. Now, what can bring the nation of Israel to that point that the Hashem, the light that created, the light that is responsible to take this creation to the end, to the redemption, to what the Torah says, to reveal the totality of the Emet, as God opened the sea of understanding, and Am Israel alach betoch hayam, and Am Israel went inside this yam al yevesha. That means totality of the revelation of the Emet and the truth. And we know that at this time is the time that the 72 names, the Ein Bet Shemot of Hashem, that comes in 3 Pasukim, as Zohar HaKadosh explains, reveals itself, reveals all the judgments, the totality of the Gevurot that has to bring Am Israel and the creation into the Zman of Mashiach, into the time of Shalom, by receiving the Torah and implementing the Torah and bringing Torah into the creation. So what Hashem comes and he says, "Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, ma titzaku el davar." Why you are yelling at me? El bnei Israel ve'isau. It's the time for you to go forward. That's what Am Israel is. Am Israel does not believe in fate. We don't believe in fate. We believe in destiny. We write our destiny by understanding the Gevurot, the judgments, the lessons that I have to learn, the accomplishments and potentialities that I have to bring into actuality in my lifetime. That requires understanding. By understanding that, I can write my destiny. And here comes, and Hashem instructed, "V'ata erim et matecha." Matecha, you raise your staff. Mate, mem, tet. It's 49. Indication of the 49th level of understanding that Moshe Rabbeinu has achieved. And Hashem says, you raise your staff, and bekehu, and you strike the sea, and the sea to your strike will open. That's a phenomenal idea, that one can come to that capability, that to cause, like Moshe, as Moshe teaches us in his book, to open the sea, to open that understanding for me to see the truth about myself. And that's the indication of Memtet. It's the 49 gates of understanding. We know that the Torah has instructed us once in the morning, Shacharit, and once in the Arvit, in the evening, Pamayim beyom, twice a day, to say Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. We know that this sentence contains 25 letters. And so, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed, that contains 24 letters. Together, 49. 49 and 49 in the evening, that's twice, that will give you the 50 gates of understanding. That means God has given us the opportunity between the Shema of the morning and the Shema of the evening to have the zechut by reciting the Shema Israel and the 4 paragraphs, parashiot, that completes the yichud of Yud, K, Vav, K. And by saying those arba parashiot, by putting the tzitzit and the tefillin, we are capable to receive that understanding, that level of binah, in order to open the sea and see the truth about ourselves, about what is my duty in this world, how I can correct myself and elevate myself to the extent that to be kadosh, because God says ani kadosh. So you, if you want to bind with me, if you want to come close to me, you need to be kadosh too. That means you need to have that wisdom in order to be able to create that vessel called shalom, in order to bring the light of Mashiach, the light of mercy and goodness into the world and into the creation. We know that from the opening of the sea and the revelation of the 72 names, which is the seed of all the gevurot in the world, the seed that created the embodiment that needs to be rectified, corrected, prepared as a final vessel called Mashiach. That energy brings shalom to the whole world. That's why his name is Shalom. That's why Bnei Israel, when they see each other, they say Shalom. When they leave, they say Shalom. That's why they strive for Shalom. And that's the time when the truth, the Emet, is in totality revealed. And that will be the time that even the lion and the wolf do not, as Yeshua says, do not need to eat each other. So does the wolf and the lion, both they will eat grass as the lamb will eat grass. Now we know that as soon as the Petichat Yam Suf and Israel coming to the other side of the Yam Suf and realizing what has happened, they come to the state that we call the state of recognition, and that's the time of Shirah, and that's the reason of Az Yashir Moshe Bnei Israel, and up till now Moshe was megamgem, that he was not able to speak, to give a speech, and now yet he comes to this state of Shirah, singing, and that is the time we know that the Da'at, the knowledge, is out of Galut, is out of Egypt. That's the secret of the Shirah. And then we know that we go 49 days in order to reach the destination, 6 of Sivan, to receive on Shavuot, Regel Sheni Shel Moadim, to receive the Torah. 49 days Israel contemplates, looks into all Gevurot of his own life, every night counting. 7 levels of character, and those characters I would like to share with you is one has to start and recognize. Number 1 is how much Ahavat Hashem is within the character and the attitude and behavior of Adam. How much Yirat Hashem there is in my activities, in my way of life, in my way of dealing with my world, my environment, my peers, my neighbors, my nations, my God. And so next is Netzach Bitachon, Bitachon, having the faith, that certainty, that confidence that I need to have in my life in order to achieve and be able to face my weaknesses, to face my lacks, to face my fears. And next, Temimut, and that's how much integrity, sincerity I am able to apply in my life in order to come to a concept called realization of emet, of the truth. And by having all these 6 energy, all should one come to a final product called shaflut, and that's the Sefirah of Malchut. But since we start from below to above, one has to ask himself, how much humbleness I have been able to achieve in my life. Looking to myself, sincerity, look into the mirror and realize whether this humbleness that you present, is it true or not? In order to recognize, you say, I need to establish my life to be founded on truth. Which truth? There is only one truth in the world, and that's the 5 books of Moses, the book of Emet. And in order to establish that kind of a knowledge, wisdom, kedusha into my life, by not only studying it and as well applying it, I need to have faith. That's called bitachon. I have to have confidence. I have to have sincerity and integrity. That's hod, that's timimut. In order to be able to establish the emet in my life. Then it comes the next step. In order for me to cause binding with Hashem, that's yichud, that comes through this da'at of Torah, study of what Moshe teaches me, that how a Jew should have bitachon in his God, to have certainty and faith in his God. In order to achieve that yichud, that binding, and in order to bring rachamim to this world, that means shalom to this world, I need to have and to recognize that first I have to have a fear of not sin and go against the word of my God. And by having and starting having and implementing that fear in my life, I will recognize and feel the love of Hashem. Then I won't do His work through fear of Hashem, but I will do His work with love of Hashem. That in return brings me to the yichud and binding. That in return allows for me to pull that energy, the light called rachamim, into this world. The names, the mitzvot that God has given us, it's only for us to enable us to come to better understanding, to a better wisdom in order to bring peace to the world. Shalom everybody.